So thinking about what 2024 brings, Zelenskyy just fired Ukraine's head of the army, a man you've mentioned, General Valerii Zaluzhnyi. What do you make of this development?
This is a very, very dangerous moment in the war. The reason for that is that Zaluzhnyi is someone who is very popular with the army and with people in general. So if you look at that through American prism, that would be something analogous to President Truman firing General MacArthur. Given that stakes for U.S. at that time were very high, but probably not as high as they are for Ukraine today. In both cases, what is at stake is certainly the idea that the political leadership and military leadership have to be on the same page. And the question is whether, on the part of Zelenskyy, this is just the change of the leadership, or this is also the change of his approach to the war. And then can mean many things. One can mean him taking more active part in planning operations. It can mean also possible change of the tactic in the war, given that counteroffensive didn't work out. We don't know yet. I don't know whether President Zelenskyy at this point knows exactly what will come next. But this is the time when the change of the leadership in the country and in the army that is at war, it's one of the most trying, most dangerous moments.
So the thing that President Zelenskyy expressed is that this is going to be a change of tactics, making the approach more technologically advanced, this kind of things. But as you said, I believe he is less popular than the chief of the army, Zaluzhnyi, 80% to 60%, depending on the polls. Do you think it's possible that Zelenskyy's days are numbered as the president, and that somebody like Zaluzhnyi comes to power?
What we know is that in this war, Ukrainian people really united around their president. And the armed forces were always, even before the start of the war, more popular than was the presidential office. So the change, if happened in that realm, was not so dramatic. And from what I can see from social media in Ukraine, there is a lot of unhappiness, a lot of questions, but there is also realization, and very strong realization, that country has to stay united. And certainly the behavior of Zaluzhnyi himself is there basically not suggesting any sort of a Prigozhin type of scenario. That gives me some hope, actually a lot of hope. And in terms of whether Zelenskyy's days are numbered or not, I don't think they're numbered. But if Ukraine stays a democracy, and I believe it will stay, what comes to my mind is the story of Churchill, the story of de Gaulle, in Poland, the story of Pilsudski. So once the war is over, really the electorate in the democratic elections, they want to change the political leadership. They want to move forward. But Pilsudski came back to power, and de Gaulle came back to power, and Churchill came back to power. So no, whatever happens in the short run or medium term run, I think that Zelenskyy days in politics are not numbered.
So what to you is interesting, for example, if I get a chance to interview Zelenskyy, what to you is interesting about the person that would be good to ask about, to explore about the state of his mind, his thinking, his view of the world as it stands today?
Next month, we're supposed to take place Ukrainian elections. They're not taking place because the majority of Ukrainians don't think this is the right thing to do, to change the president, to have the elections, to have a political struggle in the middle of the war. So Zelenskyy refused to call those elections despite the fact that he is and continues to be the most popular politician in Ukraine. So it would be to his benefit, but that's clearly not what the Ukrainians want. But the question of continuing as the president beyond 5 years also, one way or another, would raise questions about the legitimacy. And certainly Russia will be playing this card like there is no tomorrow. And what I would be interested in asking Zelenskyy about, whether he sees that his second term, which comes on those conditions, would suggest a different attitude toward the opposition, maybe some form of the coalition government, like it was the case in Britain with Churchill, under different circumstances, of course. Or this is basically, in his opinion, something that would be destructive and something that would really be an impediment for the question of unity and war effort. And I would ask this question not to basically suggest that that's the way to go, but I would be very much interested to hear what is his thinking about that is.